GT5 Podcast coming to another episode on this glorious Monday afternoon in the middle of nowhere, Wichita, Kansas. We kind of like Wichita a little bit, but it depends. It depends on the day of the week. So some days I like Wichita, sometimes I'm like, man, I hate Wichita. But for the most part, it's a great city to live in. I wouldn't recommend it to those who want to have stuff to do. So if you're a young couple, probably not the, not the best place for you. Again, GT Divide Podcast. So today I'm going to be talking about, I've got to have people ask me some questions. They asked me what I think the five main ingredients for a healthy relationship are. Five things to look out for, five things that you can see. And this is male or female. It's not gender specific. So I'll state each one of them, then I'll give you kind of an explanation on why I believe so. First one is responsibility and accountability. Obviously, you want to be with somebody who takes responsibility for their actions and can also take accountability when you call them out on their stuff, right? Because as a partner, you're gonna call your partner out. If your partner can't be called out by you, um, and they always get defensive, then it's going to be kind of hard to have a relationship because there's times when the accountability needs to be taken. So if your needs aren't being met and you bring them up to and your partner gets pissed off at you and starts raging out, they don't want the responsibility of your needs, right? So that's the reason why responsibility is key. Like your partner has to have the responsibility for your needs. I know people try to say, "Oh, you don't need that in a relationship. You don't need to do that anymore. Oh, you got to make sure that you take care of yourself, put yourself first, yada yada yada." That's the reason why the divorce rate is so high amongst everybody in our culture because that's the mindset that people have. It's a me first mentality, and it doesn't really work when in regards to relationships. Relationships are not me first; it's the other person first. And if you don't have that type of responsibility, accountability, like you don't want that. Um, Accountability can also be um, holding themselves accountable when they're out and about and they're not around you. How do they interact with other people? How do they talk about you to other people? Like these are important pieces, important aspects that matter because if a person's talking bad about you to other people outside the relationship, then that is a an inkling, right? That gives you some guidance to how they actually feel about you. Because people can put on a mask and then act differently around you and around other people. Yes, that's out there. But for the most part, it's hard for a person to actually hide how they 100% actually feel about somebody in a relationship. Second one, self control. The ability for one to control themselves. You're going to be placed in situations where you have the opportunity to make mistakes, right? When you're in a relationship, you have to be able to control yourself in those situations. It's not saying that you're going to be perfect, that you won't make mistakes, but overall, do you have good self control? Um, do you put yourself in situations that could jeopardize a relationship? Do you have people in your circle, friends? That's self control. Having friends in your circle that jeopardize a relationship. Like if the relationship is that important to you, sometimes you got to cut off some people, right? I'm of the understanding. So if somebody cuts me off as it's been a friend, and they're like, "Hey man, hey, I got to cut you off because I'm in a relationship." I respect that from you because you told me what it was. I respect you. I understand your relationship's important to you. It's important to me that you have a healthy relationship. So I'm not going to be one to be like, man, I don't want him to cut me off, man. But you have to understand that, and you have to be careful who you tell your business to. Some people get on Facebook, they get online, they get on Instagram, and whatever means that they use to because they lack self control. People think self control only evolves around cheating. Self control evolves around everything, right? How you interact with other people when it comes to your partner, what you say to other people when it comes to your partner, right? You can get on Facebook and be have no self control, and you put all your relationship business out there. And guess what? There's other people out there that may want the person that you got in your relationship. Now you give them the keys to your car. And then when they hop in your car, you mad now? Oh, I'm pissed off. No, you gave them the keys to your car because you yourself had no self control. So you have to have self control in order for you to have a successful relationship. Three, confidence. Confidence is key. You do not want an insecure partner. You don't want a highly insecure partner. Is there room for insecurities? Yes, there are minor insecurities, right? You might have a little insecurity about this thing, right? But it's not something that's detrimental to a relationship. Now, when you have somebody severely insecure, that severely insecure to the point where they need validation, they will seek validation out there. The validation that you give them, the attention that you give your partner when they're severely insecure will never be enough, right? So you're always chasing something and they're always going out here grabbing something else, right? And you don't want that. So I know I'm going to get bashed by some of the people out here that are super insecure, but a lot of y'all that are super insecure aren't even in a relationship, and this is why, right? Because you need that validation from somewhere. My mom always told me if you seek validation outside, you have to go back to where you got it from to get some more. So when you run out, you got to keep going back. And that's what happens to severely insecure people. They tend to get validation from outside the relationship, and they have to keep getting validation from outside the relationship because it's never going to be enough. At no point in time will it ever be enough for them. And so they keep getting it, they keep getting it, they keep getting it, and then they're more likely to probably end up in another relationship cheating on you because they're out here seeking validation. And when you seek validation, you tend to put yourself in bad situations. Four, ability to remain calm. This is key because a lot of times people will rage out on you. If somebody does rage out on you, if they throw things, if they slam stuff, they walk out, they storm out, they scream, they yell, they holler. They want the whole world to know that they're in distress. That type of person right there is the type of person that you do not want to be in a relationship with. That person, because of their inability to remain calm, will never hear what you're saying. They may hear it 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks later. They may down the road at some point in time. They may think back on the conversation like, "Damn, you were right." But in the moment, in the meantime, it's hard for them to be able to make those changes because they don't have the ability to remain calm. They can't stay. They can't be still in the midst of adversity because you're calling them out on something. If you get called out on something and you remain calm, you are the type of person that can make the changes that are necessary. If you get caught on it on stuff, and it goes for anybody, man, it does. This is not just not gender. This is gender neutral. Anybody. You call if you don't have the ability to remain calm when you're called out, then you're not gonna be able to change. It's hard for you to be able to change. So you have to have a partner that has the ability to be called out on stuff. Like they have to have the ability to be called out because at some point in time you're going to do something that your partner don't like, right? And you have to possess the ability to remain calm. Your partner will come to you and be like, you know what? I don't like how you fold the clothes. Are you going to amp up and scream and lash out because you're trying to change their opinion, their mind? Or typically people that rage, they don't they. It's crazy because these all go hand in hand. Typically, people that rage out and can't remain calm have they don't have the ability to take responsibility and accountability for their actions. So when you call them out, they rage because typically the rage comes from a place of shame. A lot of these disorders that people are dealing with out here in the streets have to do with shame. People think it's like, oh, I was treated like this, or somebody treated me badly, or somebody did this to me. And it's my belief, based on my experience and people that I've talked to in some of these realms. You know, you got narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder. Those type of things are rooted in shame. Shame is what makes them act the way they act. Shame, people that have shame rage out because they don't want to take responsibility for their shame, right? People that have shame lack self control. People that have shame they lack confidence. They're not confident. They are some of the most insecure people out there. They have a bunch of shame built up. Until they deal with the shame, it's hard for them to be able to hit these marks. Fifth thing, empathy. Empathy and understanding. You want a partner who can empathize with you and understand. You want a partner who can put themselves in your shoes and be like, I understand what it is you're going through. Not just to say they understand, but to actually understand. And there's a difference between saying you understand, because people will say, I don't understand. Like me as a black person, you know, when your significant other is a white Caucasian woman, and you talk about stuff that goes into the realm of racist type stuff, right? So you may be talking about, hey, I got treated like this because I'm black, and I'm talking to my Caucasian spouse, right? My Caucasian significant other, and she says, I understand. She don't really understand because she's not black. She has not dealt with that. She doesn't have the wisdom behind it because she doesn't have to deal with it. So in those instances, it's hard. It's like they if they say they understand, it's a sympathy response, not an empathy response, right? It's sympathetic in that they say it to try to make you feel like they feel something, but they can't really feel what you're feeling. Now, if it's, oh man, dude, I was working out yesterday and I hurt my back, right? And then you tell your spouse or significant other, I hurt my back. And they're like, oh man, I understand that, man. And you know that they've hurt their back before, or they understand because they work out. They understand because they understand what it means to be in pain in any part of your body. They have the understanding, so they can be empathetic and put themselves in your shoes, right? So you have to understand the context of what you're talking to people about when you look at this. I can't expect empathy from my significant other when I talk about racism stuff because she is not black. So she can't understand the black side of it. So I can't expect her now. I know going in, she will give me sympathy talking about these things, right? But I can't expect empathy. So with that, you also have to understand what it is that you're talking about and the context that you're talking about it in order for you to be able to get that understanding and empathy. But understanding and empathy are two key points. They're extremely important, and the fact that if you don't have them, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for you to be able to have a great and healthy relationship if you don't have those things. So you got to have all five of these pieces: responsibility, accountability, self-control, confidence. You want a confident partner. You want somebody who's confident in themselves. You want somebody who doesn't have to seek validation from other people for them to feel validated. You want a person that can get validation from themselves. Because if they have to seek validation from other people, they're going to always be out there entertaining everybody. Ability to remain calm. You want somebody who doesn't rage out on you whenever you bring something up that you feel. They can sit there and take it because sometimes that's what you need. You don't need somebody who's going to tell you or say, I'm going to change something or tell you something. You need somebody who's going to sit there and allow you the opportunity to speak your mind. And then the last thing you want is somebody that has empathy and understanding, somebody who's empathetic at heart. These are caring people. You can tell when somebody's empathetic and when somebody's just sympathetic. And not everybody out here who you think has empathy actually has empathy. But it's GT Divide Podcast, though. I'm out.